What is up, everybody? Raging Dan here, also known as Black Dragon 356, and this is my first YouTube stream. I've streamed before on Twitch, on Mixer, and soon I'll be able to stream on Kick soon because I have an account with some followers there. But to be honest, it's been a very long time since I've been streaming, since I've done anything like this. So, usually I'm about gaming and whatnot, but I think I might just save the gaming part and some of the raging that I'm always known for, because I'm always known for raging, of getting mad, not necessarily breaking stuff, because I don't have much stuff to break, but yeah, we do get mad on here. Very much a truth about video games, about people in general, people being stupid. Uh, Idiocy is so much around. A lot of people think people are idiots, some people are not. Recently, there has been you don't know what the truth from reality is anymore. You don't. So, when it comes down to it, I think I want to try to dedicate my YouTube channel to like Let's Plays and uploading videos I want to upload for gaming. But I also want it to be a place that I could always talk about weird kind of conspiracies that always go around. And I've been deep in the conspiracy theories myself. And some are not conspiracies, they are truly real. And there's a lot of people out there that truly don't believe that some things are real. And I don't know, certain things, like people hear like, oh, Bigfoot, oh, people hear about aliens, people are like, oh, okay, that's just, whatever, man. Well, the more you get into history, certain kind of history, you get to realize that there's certain things that are very hard to make up. And there are very specific scientific discoveries that not scientists ever made. People just discovered it, it just happened. So, there's so much history out there that we truly don't know, and what we do know, we have to kind of piece it together in our own way. So, but first things first, on this stream I did said that this was about smoking and chilling, and this is exactly what we're gonna do. I'm gonna throw on an album. First I'm just gonna throw on a couple songs and then an album. We'll sesh together, and I got this Joe Rogan video that I want to watch and to react to. We may not do the whole hour and 40 minutes, but you never know. This could actually be interesting. And then we'll probably do some gaming after. I think I can switch it to gaming. I don't know about the title much, but just maybe. Because it's on my software. I'm on a free software. Give me some slack. So, give me 1 second. So we, so one thing that YouTube does not like that much, and they really don't like it, they truly don't like it, is showing weed. They don't like it. I'm just gonna say it straight up. They don't like showing weed. Um, I've had friends that have gotten completely torched because they've said or done something that was just the tiniest bit insensitive. So we're gonna it's kind of gonna be like I'll talk about it a little bit. You'll know I do it. You'll see it, but you won't see the whole thing, which really sucks because I've seen people smoke joints all the time on YouTube and YouTube Live, and you can smoke in music videos and post them to YouTube and they're fine. But the moment you start doing it in your own house in a context, it's all of a sudden thrown out the door. So we got what's that? Some Green Dot. Hold on. Some Gas Cat by Green Dot. I guess I should start off with formal warning. I don't push people to smoke. I think this even says 18 plus, so I know I won't get probably any people or a lot of people that truly don't like to smoke, don't really like it. I'm not trying to force anybody into it because people can do whatever they want, but I will keep doing this, and if I have to hide it and just blow the smoke in y'all's face, I guess that's how I'm gonna have to do it. Like I said, I've had a couple other friends that just had to go on like anything else. When Mixer was still up, they went on Mixer. When some people I knew went on Facebook because Facebook is just more or less Instagram, like Instagram Live. So you can, just connect your account and you'll be all good there. But I've never been the when it comes to social media for me myself, I've never been about it. Honestly. Like I've never been a big person on social media. I've never seen the reason of, "Oh, I just did this today. Let me post it and let everybody see." Like no. So, it's like what's the point? Really? Like there's truly no point. So, give me 1 second. Okay, camera's back on. So, we're gonna heat this thing. We got some shatter too, and some reclaim. Reclaim's always the best. Psych. But actually, yeah, we're gonna do some this Green Dot, and then go from there. So let's heat this up. Now, I don't think you guys can hear the torch because of my mic. It has like that background mute kind of deal. But yeah, anyone joining my stream, like smoking, like chilling, it's pretty good. I know if I want to actually get on YouTube, I have to be streaming for a while. There's just one guy now. Actually, I'll show you guys right now. His name is Air Aaron Dietrich. Okay, let me take this dab real quick. Sorry guys, I blew the smoke away. I just have to make sure I don't like actually show this. Because I'm usually just used to just doing it at my desk whenever. Worst part is, it's about Devin here. I have a dog, and this dog's hair like this long, but it gets into everything, man. And sometimes I'll find like right there, hairs on my card cap. Wait, those are my hairs. Those aren't his. I just cleaned it off. But yeah. But so this guy, Aaron D Tires D Trees. So he has been if we go to oldest, he's been live streaming on YouTube for the last about 10 months. But this guy's history goes way farther. He was the one that really actually inspired me because I never would believe in my life that someone that I saw streaming who started having one viewer would get up this big. So, this guy, Aaron Dietrich D Tires. There's another guy with the YouTube channel on this, but it was different. And this guy, so it was just before the pandemic. Just before the pandemic, so 2019, it was December of 2019. And just around that time in October, November, my brother started doing Uber Eats for work. So, me deciding to not do school, decided to just go with him, chill with him, and drive around. Cause we would just drive around, talks. I'd have my cartridges. I would just smoke. He'd just go get food, bring it to people's houses in the neighborhood. It was chill. He would get decent money for it at the time. And then the pandemic started. Really tried to really got up there. But just around December 2019, I remember I think it was the 2019 TwitchCon for League of Legends. I think it was TwitchCon. I want to say it was around that time. I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, I was watching shit. I need to find this again. Hold on. No.
Wie?
Anyway, I know you guys. Well, not everybody else. So, at the time, there's this YouTuber called Yasuo. So, at the time, because I was really into League of Legends. And I would watch Yasuo. And right now, you can't find his channel because the head of YouTube, I forgot what her name was at the time, just straight hated him and wouldn't give back his channel after he like really didn't do much because he got banned, almost got banned off of Twitch and YouTube because of the gambling. But anyway, before that, and back in 2019, I remember watching the TwitchCon, and I remember he was, I think it was a few days before, and I forgot the city it was in, but he decided to go there, do the vlog view of the city, and then just walk around and stream. Most of the people who streamed on Twitch who would walk around and vlog, they would have it as the just chatting category. But he had it in the travel and outdoors category. And I remember going through, just looking through, and scrolling, just looking for something. I was like, who's on the travel and outdoors channel? I didn't know they had this section. Maybe I'll find someone who's like Walk in Paris or something, because now you got those Walk Japan live streams, Walk Korea, and it's actually brings in a lot of viewers. But I was scrolling through, and at the time he was carrying, because he had like almost 20,000 viewers at the time. He was carrying that category, so everybody else in the category had so much less, and by the time you went through 10 channels, people were down to one viewer. So I'm scrolling through, and then I see this guy. I see the I see the thumbnail, and it's this guy in a tent. So I'm just like, okay. Click on it. This guy had one viewer at the time. One viewer. I was his second viewer at the time I was looking at it. And this guy, no lie, this man right here, the one I'm looking at, the one I'm showing you as we speak, this guy. So this guy doesn't really have a house. At the time, he was literally, which I found this out recently, he was actually living in that tent. But when I found him, got first stream, saw him, hopped in there. This guy is literally telling life stories and jokes, talking to the chat, while rolling up joints and blunts, and then he would start doing shots. And this guy was in a tent, and like I'm not talking like a big ass tent, like a small ass tent. Like his back was pretty much touching the zippers. Like he only had maybe like a little bit of room, and everything else in the tent was like behind him. So he had like he said he had a bunch of stuff where the camera was, and this guy manages to have Wi-Fi off of his phone. I think it was his phone, or he has like some sort of device. But he's in the tent. I'm pretty sure he said he was in Montana in the dead of winter. Mind you, I said this is around November, December. So he's in the dead of winter. And he literally, and I said, "Where are you at?" He says, "I'm in the middle of nowhere." He says, "I'm just in the middle of nowhere." And I'm like, "No way." He's like, "Yeah." He pulls up the down the tent and literally just shows with the camera, because I think the camera's on like a tripod, so he just like angled it, and he literally just showed it's just nighttime with it blizzarding outside, not snowing. It was just straight blizzarding, and I could not believe this guy. And this guy's just sitting here rolling joints up, smoking, taking shots, just looking at chat. And I find out literally like until recently I found this out that he was living in that tent. Like this I think it was the yeah, it was one of these streams. I think it was Bunker Stock or one of these streams. I ended up like typing in his chat, and then he was like, "Yeah, I remember the old tent days. I remember just living in the old tent, just streaming it up." And now this guy lives in like some North New York, like, where no one else lives, upstate New York. And he literally just said he lives in like a little community. He has this like little house that he lives in. To get water, he goes down to the creek and just gets water. Like this guy was just pure out survival. Like he never cared about going in the city and working. And I'm watching this guy. I'm his second viewer. He only had like a couple dozen subscribers. Like I only remember him having like maybe 20 something at most, cuz he has some of his family actually watching him, which you can see in the chat, in like cousins and people he knows. So at that time, just most of them were just literally his family and people he knew. So I'm probably one of the first people to discover this guy on Twitch, literally rolling up joints and drinking in the middle of winter in a blizzard. So I just thought, dude, this guy's an absolute G. And guess what? This man keeps doing it for like a couple years. And then every now and again on Twitch, I would just see his notification pop up, and I was like, oh, let's just see what he's doing. And I see him, what you see in this little room and house now. So he got into his little community up there and with some people he knew, and now he's just chilling there making videos, doing his own thing. And I couldn't believe this. And then all of a sudden, one day, like I want to say probably about 2 years ago now, he ended up just getting like just thrown off of Twitch. Like one day his channel's just gone. I ended up looking at the Twitch channel tracker at the time, and it showed his channel, and it showed his channel, but and it showed all the activity in the streams, but on Twitch his channel is just gone. So that was about the time around 2021 when all the government decided to become pansies and just trying to shut everything down for hate speech and all that kind of stuff. The reason why I say the government is because the government incentivized the companies like YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, incentivized all these companies with money to go after these people that they didn't like, that they were saying things that they didn't like or that went against their policy and whatnot. Hell, and it's still going on now. Hell, I had a friend who literally posted mushrooms that he got, and he posted it on his story on Snapchat. He's had that Snapchat account since almost the very beginning of Snapchat. And guess what? They banned him permanently for it. Can't recover his account, nothing. And I'm like, "Bro, I've seen people post things way worse than that. People be fucking on Snapchat and they don't. And what? Oh, these mushrooms, these are just too much. Just too much." So when YouTube and Facebook and all these people started taking these people down, this guy was a victim of it. He literally said one person reported him on Twitch for hate speech, and that was enough to get him banned. Just one ban on Twitch, and he got one report on Twitch, and he got banned for it. So he had to make a new. Like I was trying to search this for this guy for like 8 months after I saw his YouTube gone, and then finally he pops up 10 months later. So I started watching him again, and I literally asked him what happened, and he's like, "Yeah, literally just some guy reported me. One guy reported him. One random guy who was an insensitive little fucker just walks into this guy's stream and just reports him." Like, bro, what? So it's like, why even? What's the point? Why even? What's the point of speaking your mind if you're just gonna get shut down? Like, instantly from some random guy who doesn't know what you're doing, what you're from, what you're talking about half the time, probably. Probably came in, said something out of context, sends a report out. Like, you don't know. And that's what happened to Yasuo. He the with the YouTube ban on pretty much anything gambling and Twitch as well, he pretty much was forced to kick. And originally, when he was asking who I think it was her name was Sarah. I think her name was Sarah. She was the leader of YouTube at that time before they switched it to this new guy. At that time, she was a bro. Ooh, the things that she did and said, I just could not believe. But when she when she was leading the charge, he literally his shit just got banned. His channel got banned. He started doing gambling, and then he ended up getting kicked over. And I think they just originally said I totally I kind of forgot what it was, but it had to do with certain things, and he just wanted what he wanted to do is he just wanted to keep the channel as a legacy channel. He says, if you guys give me my channel back, I will not upload anything new. I will just keep it how it is and lock it and have it as a legacy channel because my videos on there are literally like they're legacy videos. He has ones of 1v1ing Faker, uh, he had the one where he was with LL Stylish going against gold players. He had all these different kind of videos that were just they were such big videos at the time, and they got so popular and they resonated with people. And he's like, just let me keep it on there so people just at least can go to my channel. I don't even care if I make money off of it. Just I want to keep my channel up there. He says I have enough money already because he was contracted to FaZe. So, and they said no. Sarah said no. You can't do it. Can't keep your channel up there. So he just made Yasuo 2.0, uploaded the old videos there, and that's how it is. Oh, my bad. And it's kind of unfortunate. It really is unfortunate because you got some of these really good creators, like you got like just those two examples right there. You had someone who had like 5 million subscribers get taken down, and then you had someone with like 50 subscribers, if not maybe a little bit more, taken down. Someone big and someone small, and they both got taken down almost the same way. So most people are just like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do to try to do anything? And now with certain things on YouTube, if you don't support the LGBT, that's almost insta ban. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Why are you? The one thing I can't understand is that what has the LGBTQ community done to earn such respect over the American flag? Honestly, like countries have their good and bad, but when you actually look at an overall sense of the countries and the history of countries, we have one of the best histories, and we have the most rights for people here, most chances and opportunities. Some people didn't have all the rights that they could, but they still were better off in here than other countries. And when you look at what America has done for the whole of the world, it's done more overall good. So you got these people who are posting these good patriotic videos of, oh hey, I love my country. I'm gonna wear this American flag shirt. Well, now that this mind thought has corrupted the new generation that's on the internet now, that's all they see. So now you literally people literally say, "Hey, what do you think about a guy who has an American flag shirt on?" Well, oh, he's probably a Trump supporting communist or fascist. What? He's how does him wearing the American flag make him support Trump and make him support other things? They're like, how does that happen? Oh, well, you just are. So it's like, well, wait a minute. If you're telling me you don't wear or even somewhat support the flag, that's it? But I'm supposed to support another flag that hasn't fought any wars for me, hasn't saved me from oppression, helped people build up to make some of the greatest empires ever. What at least I know what America's done, the good and the bad. What has the other flag that they want me to support done? Like honestly. Like real talk honestly. What's the point? What is the point of even being able to express your opinions if once you don't say something, oh, you don't support this, then you're instantly gonna get blacklisted. Like, remember when they were taking accounts down on Twitter, like famous accounts down because they didn't have that black square for the Black Lives Matter? People were literally like, you would have this wave of people, of woke people, that would storm these people's accounts and other, even businesses, because they wouldn't support it. Remember the chick in, I think it was San Francisco, that she was a white girl who owned a beauty salon, and she has braids. She's a white girl with blonde, like with that white blonde hair, with more, it was more white hair, and she had braids. They literally made her, they literally said, "Hey, you cut your braids off or we're going to burn down your salon." Cuz we're Black Lives Matter. Those braids belong to the black people. We're going to burn your salon if you don't comply. And it seemed like it was a true and real threat because the chick originally stood against it, but when there was constant damage coming to her salon, she literally just closed it down. She didn't cut her hair, she just ended up closing down the salon. So it's like, bro, these people are able to force and make you believe, and like that's just crazy to me. It's like if these people were enforcing a different message through other sources of power, it would be riots everywhere. Oh, but they do it through a community that has supporters that fight injustice and crime and oppression, and oh, all of a sudden it's fine when they make major changes, and then try to make major changes and force law enforcement to make those changes, like $1 billion cut funding in the NYPD. And now they literally have it so you can live on the streets of New York. Like, just straight up live on the streets. More migrants are going there every day. So it's like, you guys have all these problems that are being caused by the people you somewhat support, and I can't even say something on YouTube, bruh. I can't even say something on a little platform when I'm one voice, yet you and all other voices are forcing people to think one way and to force other people to go with your way with your voice. It's like, well, wait a minute. That's why you're censoring other people in the first place, so those people don't even have a chance to have a voice to reach the people that support them. So now all these new people that are coming on, all they see is the voices you want them to see. They see the voices you want them to see. They want you to see. And then what? They change how you're thinking incrementally over time. Brainwashing is a true technique. And they've never, that's what people don't understand anymore. And I actually told this to somebody else, and they looked at me like I was crazy. I said, "How long does it take to brainwash somebody?" And they said, "Well, it probably takes months or weeks or whatever." And I said, some of the best working brainwashing ever has gone out for decades. They wouldn't do it all at once. They would slowly brainwash them over time, and then by the time they're at their almost peak, you have them so wrapped up that they literally couldn't think of life differently if you weren't there feeding the information. Like, there are cases like that. You can brainwash people slowly over time, or you just keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Alright, so that was my rant for 35 minutes. 30 minutes, 35 minutes. But yeah, If you guys ever get a chance to watch this guy, watch him. He's actually really funny. He's really funny. He just does his own thing. Old guy too. Like he doesn't act like an old guy. He just acts like a young guy, even though he's old, which is pretty funny. All right. I think while this is up, hold on. Um, We're gonna chill out and such for a little bit, and then watch this Joe Rogan video. Okay. Trying and driving. Man, could have been dead. Could have been in prison. So, the plan for this channel, what I'm thinking, is if I do ever live stream on YouTube, it would mostly be for chatting and chilling, and more gaming would be on Kick. And I think that's it, because I could actually, you know, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, I could literally probably talk about like certain topics for hours and just put it on live stream and just throw it on the YouTube. Like honestly, like a little podcast kind of type deal. I mean, I wouldn't have. Uh, I'd have to have like a constant. What's it called? I'd have to have a constant schedule and know when I'm gonna talk about, or I could just straight rant. I mean, the things I do talk about, when I do talk about them, I do know a lot. I'm not always gonna talk about a topic that I know little nothing about. For literally the past like 7 years, I've almost been non-stop into politics. It's very how do I say it, repetitive. It's almost the same thing. It's just, I want you to think of it like politics. You know what politics is? Imagine a tug of war between two people. Literally, a constant tug of war. These people are at almost equal strength. Almost equal strength. Almost equal strength, right? In different ways, their strength is equal in relative terms. They're pulling on a rope, right? They're pulling on this rope. Each of them has a rope. And at some random point, when they don't know, someone in the middle is just gonna cut the rope. And whatever they have of the rope, whatever more they have of the rope, is who overall wins for either party. Problem is that little win that they get is only a step. So imagine doing this hundreds of times, and then in the end with the rope you got to build like a rope bridge or something. So it's like constantly you're getting slowly ahead, but also at the same time you're getting behind because the other person's also slowly getting ahead, if it's slightly more or slightly less. And what they've done now is that they've tried to push the walls and the gaps between it. Because they try to say, oh, well, if you believe in this, then you're over here. And if you believe this, you're over here. You're like, well, there's a lot of people in the middle. But compared to the last couple decades, there's less people in the middle than ever. And there's more people going left or right. And honestly, when you look at a lot of great civilizations, there was no big middle ground for thinking. Like, having a middle ground in a society of thought and intellectuals is actually very rare. Because usually things are black and white most places. But now we live in a 21st century where mostly all the countries are like this. So when you have more gray area, you have more people that you can, how do I say it? You can get their support without them wholly supporting you. Cause someone can vote for you and support you, but they don't 100% on what you, they aren't 100% on what they believe. About what you believe, and that'll never be the case. But more or less those people in the middle and in the gray area, because they're not going to think too much about a lot of things. And if they do, then it's harder to be in the middle. Like, if someone actually thought about it, I've been thinking about it for years, but I think even if someone thought about it for decades, and they truly thought about it, of what it is of right and wrong, and what is right and wrong, and what you believe to be right and wrong, there's very little for gray area. There truly is. Like, if you truly think about the fundamentals of everything, there is no gray area for a lot of places. And a lot of societies throughout time. It was either you believe this of what the religion is, or you don't, and you're evil. Oh, you do this? Oh, well, then that's just sin. Well, what is right and wrong? Well, this is what right and wrong is. And that's it. So if you're not right, you're wrong. That's what it is. So to try to be in the middle is a convenient. It's convenient because when shit hits the fan, your convenient opinions and thoughts and reality all of a sudden become kind of thrown out the door, and things just go back how it is. So, like I said, for these people, when people say I'm in the middle about this issue, that's when I truly push them. Like, I'm that kind of person that'll actually like, hey, I was like, well, why? What's the difference between this and that? Why would you think this would be different than that? Or what's your thought process behind this? Then I can gauge how they think. And you could just see how they think, because people can be wrong, but if their mind thought could be correctly adding up with how they think, if that makes sense. If I have a different sense of right and wrong, then someone else and we both equally fully thought about our opinions and our thoughts on right and wrong and everything and our thought process, it would be different, but it would both line up to what we believe is right and wrong. So, in some certain ways, you could technically be both correct for how it lines up in your head. Because obviously, if you believe different things, then your mind thought's going to be different. That's what is divided countries for so long. That's that's what has divided countries and types of people against each other for so long, is the way of thinking. And even today, people in India think a completely different way about situations and things that people in like America do or people in China do. Like, I remember one of the things about India, and for some reason it's just like when it comes to India and China and those countries, personal space in public areas is almost non-existent. It, Meanwhile here, we kind of think, oh well, you don't want to get too close or bump into somebody. That's just rude. But to them, it's an part of everyday life. So to them, it's normal. To you, it's rude. So where does it lie? If he thinks it's normal and you think it's rude, well, to him, he did nothing wrong. So it all depends on the society's thought as a whole to figure it out. That's why when you look at these countries that try to integrate, they end up changing the most because different people from different walks of that was weird. Oh, I'm sorry about that, guys. My OBS just went weird. It just disconnected for a sec. I thought it was YouTube already hitting me, man. I like, man, I'm not even an hour to my first live stream and they already booted me for insensitivity. Fuck! Wouldn't that be something, actually? Wouldn't that actually be something, though? Like, wouldn't that just prove my point 10 times more? It really would. But I gotta do it constantly to get their panties in a pretzel, but hey, man. That's the one thing I wanna... Hey, that's one thing I wanna say about this channel, guys. Truly, the one thing I wanna say about this channel is that I'm not an insensitive little bitch. I'm not. I can take a joke. Unlike most people. I can. I can take jokes like most people. The jokes I would make in real life, people would literally say, bro, you're a racist. And I'm like, okay. If I make jokes about everybody, am I racist to everybody? If I make jokes about myself, do I hate myself? No. I can make jokes and I can talk real. And the funniest part is nowadays, it's even funnier because most people don't know about the real that they almost think it's a joke. But now, also at the same time, that people are more sensitive nowadays, so it's like, it's, comics are getting canceled all the time, bro. Certain small comedians can't make it up because they just they straight get fucked, you know? It's like, it's supposed to be like an art form, more or less. Honestly, yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that song. Boing, boing, boing. One time, one time, one time. Man, my stream's kinda bugging right now. Man, I just gotta stick to one thing here. Just watch a video or something. I think I got, how many songs I got left? 5 songs left? By the phone, you keep me high as for sure. And I know you're there when I need you, I swear. Get no one above you, I try. But I can't get enough of your love. You're right there for me, but I was just whipping you'd call. I was just hoping you'd call to say that there was nothing at all. Swear I just saw a hater on here, bro. Dude, these fucking hairs, man. God, bro, just look at that shit. Was just hoping you'd call. Nothing at all. Oh, I was just hoping you'd call. Yeah, my hair looks weird because it's really big, and it's really long, and it's mostly on this side, so it's like I just have this like ultra growth. It's literally because my headphones are right here, and it puts on the outside, so it literally looks like I got this. There's this big ass like, that'd be 90s? I don't even know. I think it just looks like a homeless man at that point. Looking like a homeless man, dude. Boing. Then maybe I should just make a fucking talking stream on this shit. Just talk about like random stuff, but real stuff at the same time. Cause I would just keep it real, like, especially what's going on in the world and everything. I don't know. Everything's changed so quick, it seems. Like, it almost felt like literally just last year was 2019 and I was just chilling, having a good time. Because at this point, 2019 was my sophomore year. Kind of crazy because when it came to school, the COVID really fucked it up. Because at that year, 2020, we were literally a month and like a half away from prom. And I had like plans and everything, and they said like it was about to be lit. We were about to have an after party with a like they literally said we would have cards and money for you guys to play cards and gamble. And I'm like, dude, no way. At that time, I had like a bunch of cartridges. I was like, dude, all I have to do is just get some cartridges. I'm lit, bro. Go there, I'm lit. The girl I would have gone there with was pretty chill, but it never ended up happening, obviously. And then when it came to 2021, the year I graduated, they would have had it, but they just said nah, because at that point they had in school with masks and all that bullshit, dude. Like, that was just terrible. That's when I did absolutely so bad at school, is literally when it was all of a sudden thrown online, and then I had to go in with being 6 feet away from everybody, or they would literally like treat it as such a big offense. Like, bro. Like, imagine that, dude. Like, imagine that. Hey, you're closer than 6 feet to somebody. You're getting thrown in the principal's office. Oh, wait. I have to stay 6 feet back from the principal so I can't sit at her desk. Fuck! like what? Jeez, like some stupid shit. I can't hand in my paperwork to my teacher because of the 6 feet rule. Bro. I couldn't with that shit. That's when I was smoking the most. Because everything was so stupid. I was so mad at everything. I'm like, bro, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Who's letting this happen? And I'm sorry if you lost people to COVID. It honestly wasn't that bad. It was no bubonic plague, no Spanish flu. Like, it honestly wasn't that bad. It was a virus to wipe out all the old people so they can brainwash the young people. That's all it was. Once you kill off most of the old people that knew how it was before, then you can recreate a new, better, and quicker and faster of what you want people that you want to do. Which I've had people that died of COVID too, but everyone knew that the hospitals were intentionally killing people and intentionally putting COVID deaths so they would get money. People knew that the shot like wasn't gonna work. Dude, I remember it was my senior year, and it was like pretty much the end of, it was the near end of the school year. We were about to graduate. We were in class, masks on, everything. But this time they didn't enforce that 6 feet rule. But then I remember they were like, hey, raise your hand, like it was during health class. So she says, hey, if you guys feel comfortable, how many of you got the COVID shot? I'm not lying to you guys. When every single person in my health science class raised their hand but me. And like there's one other kid, and I kind of knew him. And I'm like, okay, that's good that he didn't get the shot, but everybody else did. This one chick, she was flexing, yeah, I got both shots, I got the boosters, I'm this and that. I'm like, but you're 18 years old. Your immune system is the best it's ever gotten. Dude, I actually almost got in trouble because someone's like, well, you can't just have your immune system really good from these virus. And I'm like, and I told her, I was like, you know what actually really helped your immune system? She's like, what? And I said, if you got pregnant. Her face was like, what? And I told her, I was like, yeah, if you learn nothing from health class, when you're a woman and you're pregnant, you have an increased immune system because of the baby. And I said, if you're so worried about it, then boom. It's like, why would you shoot all these things in your body that you don't know what's going on? At least pregnancy is natural. natural. Like, dude, like at least what I was offering was somewhat natural. They just want to take synthetic drugs. And I don't deny that vaccines are good. Polio vaccine, great. Tetanus shot, great. Wouldn't want tetanus on one of my worst enemies. That's just painful as shit. But those had decades and decades of research and development, and these were out for a couple months on a what's it called, at like a forced rate of dedication. I just don't understand. I just want, like, I just don't see as that a flex. I honestly don't. I got 8 shots. Like, what? Dude, I think I saw some the other day that it was unvaccinated sperm is like going for a law now, dude. Dude, I'm waiting in 5 years. I'll be able to get so much money. I'll go there every day if I have to. If I could get $500 every day for doing that, hey, I'm just saying, that ain't the worst job in the world, bro. Like, honestly, if you could get $500 every single day for just doing that, going to the bank, and doing one, would you do it? Fuck yeah, you would. That's $3,500 a week. That should be the end of the album. No, that's the end of the album. I'll save that song for last. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I'll see it as a flex. It's whatever, you know. But, dude, if it turns out to be a profitable business in the end for me not taking it, and I could somehow get $500 away, $3,500. Hold up. Calculator, 3,500 times 52. That's $182,000 a year. Even if you do half of that, divide by 2, 91,000. If you could get paid $250 every time you walked in there, and you could walk in there every day, imagine being able to get 90 grand a year off of that. Who wouldn't do that? Who wouldn't do that? Honestly, who wouldn't do that? Like, and even then, that it's like, just for, even if you did that like a couple times a week for extra money, that's so good. Like, I would have never even thought of doing that until I saw that video of it was literally a van for the sperm bank asking people for unvaccinated sperm for money. It's like, bro, is that all I had to do? There's just no way. I could have a bunch of kids. I could have what happened to that one guy. I don't know if you guys ever heard about that. Usually, for most places for sperm banks, right? They would, you fill out a sheet, do all that whatnot. But it's like, you always have the option to say like who the father is, but you have no ties to anything, any child that it might make or create. Well, that didn't happen to this one guy, because if you look it up, you can find it. You will find it. It is this guy, literally, this guy went to a sperm bank did his business, got his money, and literally, like, I think it was like a couple years later, he gets called up by the courts. He's like, hey, you got a court date. This woman's suing you for child support. He's like, what the fuck? I don't have a child. And she says, well, did you donate sperm to this bank? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, well, this woman's suing you for child support. And he couldn't believe it. So he ended up getting his own lawyer and fighting and all that. And guess what? He lost. He lost. He lost and he had to pay child support. Child support. Child support. On when he donated to a sperm bank. That woman literally going in there saying, hey, I'm gonna have a baby by myself, but then decides I'm gonna just sue the person who donated for child support. I couldn't believe that when I read it. I could not believe it. I'm like, dude, this poor fucking guy. This poor fucking guy. He's just trying to be out here, make a living, do shit. And he's out here getting fined for child support. For a kid that's technically his. But it's like, if a person who had a kid but technically didn't have rights to the kid, but now he somehow has rights to the kid when he's getting filed child support against, when it's through a sperm bank, but a guy who does sign the birth certificate and isn't the father is the father, but a guy who doesn't sign the birth certificate and is the father is the father? Make it make sense, bro. Like, I kind of can't believe that, bro. I couldn't believe that when I saw it. I could not believe it. I was like, dude, if that somehow happened to me and I got it, I would just run away from the world at that point. Like, the world did me a disservice if that happened to me. I would literally just look at the world like, you know, I'm thankful for everything I got. But if I can't even donate something like that, and then I get fucked for it, come on. Like, honestly. Like, what is that? I truly don't, I wouldn't know how to react. I wouldn't know how to react. Like, I could... Oh, speaking of what he just said, there was also that chick in, she just popped in my front. There was that chick in England, I don't know if you heard about her, there was this chick in England who her friend died in a car crash, and her friend was like 17 or 18 years old, right? And she posted her friend's favorite song lyrics on Twitter. And they literally told her, hey, this has the N-word in it multiple times, and you're a white person posting it. So we're going to, oh, and this is England, by the way. So in the United States, right, they might, in the United States, the most they could do with that, with you posting a person's lyrics like that, is the account getting banned. Right? Okay, that's the worst that could happen, account getting banned. Not in the UK. The UK, they found her, prosecuted her, went to court, charged her with, I think it was a week in jail, months of community service, and she was on curfew. She was put on curfew from like 6 to 6 for like a whole year. She was put on curfew, got she got put on curfew, got banned from Twitter, obviously, and then got all that from the UK, from the government. Oh my god. Gotta go for the reader.
Yeah, it's real shit. So I'ma roll this weed up and just wrap this shit. You know, too much clothes. Coming up, I always thought I'd be the runner-up. Gave my all, but it felt like it wasn't enough. I remember spending summers in the studio. My pops told me have fun, be a kid for once. What he ain't know is for a kid that I had big dreams. I taking small frames, turn into a big screen. Taking best friends, turn them to a good team. I'm watching Scarface, living all the good scenes. Burning dope, thinking about the days when I was broke. Desperate niggas in my city don't know how to cope. Young nigga said he's starving, he ain't got a meal. Down to catch a body, all about a dollar bill. My niggas is all I got, so it's more than trust. We ain't even have a car, we was on the bus. Public transportation, now it's 100 grams we making. Throw it in the safe, I can't hear what they say. I'm packing up my bags, packing up my bags, packing up my bags. I gotta catch a plane, gotta catch a plane, gotta catch a plane.
Oh my god. I'm like crying. I'm literally crying.
Trying to make it stack. Lose yourself in my city, never make it back. Said he will, but the chances are I'll never change. Daddy sold dope and probably do the same thing. If I get 30K, I'll probably spend it on my wrist. Fuck this politics when kids ain't got a pot to piss. Fuck the promises, the shit I'm on is common sense. If you ain't talking, then I'm gone. I'm packing up my bags, packing up my bags, packing up my bags. I gotta catch a plane, gotta catch a plane, gotta catch a plane.
Oh my goodness. I just slapped me in the next week, dude. Oh my god, it was that Shattered Head. That's the end of the song. The new album ends up on a wholesome note. That's who Wiz Khalifa is, always wholesome. Sorry. Oh my god. Ugh. Alright. Time to watch this Joe fucking Rogan video of UFOs. Now, So, when it comes to UFOs, whatever you say, the UFOs that are documented a lot of the times are actually real. People say, oh, it's people faking it, oh, it's whatever. There are real objects. With all the evidence of that, you truly cannot deny it. The question is who is flying said objects? If you believe the stories, okay. I'm really into this, and there's so many stories I've read. Half of the stories I'm gonna tell you, I forgot the names of the people who did it. But there's some pretty famous ones, like the military officers. It wasn't the Roswell. I believe it was in 19. I want to say it was in the late 60s or early 70s, but it was in Nevada, and it was these military. It was the story. There's actually a couple different stories from different soldiers of that experienced it. There is out there different soldiers that'll tell you the same exact story, and that when they were in the woods, they would actually be fired upon by the UFOs with a laser of light, and they witnessed it killing some of the men. They said for one of them, they actually eventually managed, because it all resulted in one of them crashing. They got to the crashed one, lo and behold, was I think it was a dead alien and a live alien, according to them. According to one of the soldiers that actually managed to get there. One of the other soldiers was saying that he was actually sticking back and firing with the other soldiers on the UFOs from the ground. And that they said eventually the jets would get there, but it would be too late, and the only one that they managed to get down was just the original crashed one. But there are, and when it comes to stories, people don't believe in ordinary people that say anything about it. They don't believe it. So that's why when you point to people in the military, it's usually more credible. It gets taken more seriously and harder with most people, because we all know when it comes to certain levels of the military, they get to see things that we don't. They definitely see things that we don't. So these guys are warned to secrecy, and they can get court-martialed and be done with however the military sees fit if they ever step out of line and tell them about anything. And even if they're out in the military already, they'll find a way to shut them up. So you don't 100% know what to believe, but those guys are pretty. They always stand by their story. There's many others about other people, about average people. You can find hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stories about average people who claim that they they were taken up and all that kind of stuff, and people are just like, oh, because they were always alone, because they were in the forest alone. Oh, why would somebody be in the forest alone? Just stuff like that. And there are certain hotspots for activity. People always say like, oh, Area 51 and all that kind of stuff, but there's places all over the Earth that only certain parts get frequent light crafts in the sky for some reason. We surely don't know what they are, but there's always crafts in certain parts of the world. There is the once it was I think it was a doctor, and I'm pretty sure it was Brazil, And this guy, and it was local legend in Brazil around this certain pond that literally, that they say these lights would literally come out, and these green lights, I think it was green or yellow lights, would literally come swishing in the sky, and they would fall and appear from the lake. And these guys went out there, these doctors literally went out there and tried to film and actually see, and they actually got some stuff on camera. And it is literally a local legend that sometimes that they actually beam people up. So it's not just United States, it's literally everywhere. Uh, Certain craft sightings literally have fallen back to many, many hundreds of years. They even, I think there's like a 13th century painting, if I'm not mistaken, that literally shows a UFO in the sky. And you got other stories of that, way farther back, of like races and like these different alien or gods. I forgot what it. I think it was ancient Samaria. I think it was that they. Sorry. That they believed that these alien crafts. It's literally crazy that they say these alien crafts got the moon from somewhere else and dragged and brought the moon to how it was. And it's really weird to think that it's like, why would the Earth have no moon? Why would the Earth have no moon? What are they saying? They dragged the moon across it. And I think there's another ancient religion that says that it was it was supposed to be a giant egg. The moon is actually like supposedly a giant egg, which is really weird to think. But there's always the military nuclear test that showed that when they literally exploded, they threw nukes on the moon. They threw nukes on the moon, which is crazy to think about. You would think, like, why would they want to nuke the moon? But they wanted to test something, and I forgot what project it was. It's gonna be something super simple, and I'm gonna remember. I forgot what project it was, but they literally nuked the moon, and they nuked it 2 times. 2 times, by the way. And what they found out is that when they nuked it, the first time, it made a big blast crater and it was decently deep. And then from the seismometer, it was ringing. Like, it was literally showing from the equipment back down on Earth from these people, and it was literally showing that it was ringing. The moon was ringing for constant minutes, like for a long time. And they're like, the only reason it could ring is if it was hollow. Because if it's a giant chunk of rock, and it's all dense down all the way to it, it would just crack, and then the sound would go out. It would never go in and ring and constant, because if it was ringing, it would be bouncing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was constant, and it was going on forever until it finally stopped. So they looked at it, they were like, that makes no sense. So they say, okay, we're gonna drop a second nuke. This nuke was bigger and more powerful than the last nuke. They said, we're gonna see if this is the true cause of the ringing, like what is going on. They drop another nuke, more powerful. rings again, but longer this time. It rings, it rings, it rings, it rings, it rings. When the debris settles, they look and compare. They get people down there and they actually look and compare the size of the craters. And what they found out baffled them. There was a certain depth of the craters that never exceeded. It never exceeded a certain feet down once it got to it. So, and that goes for all craters because the moon is full of craters. Our nukes are pretty big. Were pretty big at the time, but it still hasn't comparatively. It still has nothing compared to the giant rocks that hit it supposedly millions and millions of years ago. He has these giant craters on it. So it has to be you know it's been worked through worse, and that's what the scientists thought. They're like, well, if we nuke the moon, it's not that bad because it's been through way worse anyway. So what damage are we gonna do if we just nuke it? We're just gonna see what happens. So when they looked at it, the depths of both of the nukes were the same. In fact, when they looked at all the other craters in the other side of the moon's the deepest craters, it never exceeded a certain amount of feet. Never. Which truthfully makes no sense. Because the moon's supposed to withstand a lot, but it should have it should be deeper. The bigger the explosion, the deeper it goes, right? So why is that? Why does the moon not go past a certain depth for all the craters? Why not? Like, if these explosions are huge, and it's only like and I'm not talking like it's not like thousands of meters, like, or thousands of feet even. Like, I'm talking like I'm pretty sure they only said it was maybe like 200 and something meters. Like, it it's it once it hits a certain depth, it does not go farther, which makes no sense because they should just be able to drill and go into it. So you you get to something, you're like, well, if a project of a military that was classified, if they say that the moon is hollow and they can't get into it through nuclear explosions, what's in it? And why couldn't you get past a certain point? That means that it wouldn't be made of the same material as what's eventually beneath it, or something strengthening a certain level of rock. And when you look at certain ones of Ancient Aliens, when they look at it, they literally have episodes of Ancient Aliens that literally say, like, yeah, there's probably an alien society that living or inside the moon, and that's when they dubbed it that it was really a satellite. It was an alien satellite. So I'm just gonna say those couple things. I know I'm ranting again, but we're gonna watch this, see what's going on, see if some of the things I just said actually popped up, because it's not that it, it could be possible, because I've never watched this one. You guys saw I've not watched this one, so let's just get into it.
These are some of the craziest alien theories in Joe Rogan history. As always, if you guys enjoy, please be sure to subscribe with post notifications on.
When they detonated the bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that's when UFOs started coming. And all the UFO activity ramped up substantially. And
Why do you think that is?
Because I think they realized we have nukes. Like, these crazy motherfuckers are just wiping out whole cities with nukes. these fucking assholes, they had to come down and go, whoa, 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 what are you doing, man? What the fuck are you doing?
Why you think they came like, yo, hey, they fucking nuclear weapons. What the fuck is going on? Who gave them nuclear weapons?
Well, I think they realized we reached a level of technological sophistication that we could kind of kill everybody on Earth.
Or you think one of them went rogue and taught us?
I don't think one of them went rogue and taught us, because there's a very, like, if you go and look at the Manhattan Project and you go and look at the history of splitting the atom, there's a very clear academic paper trail of how they figured this out, and all the trials that they did and what they did when they detonated the Trinity bomb, which, by the way, was one of the first times they ever discovered those nanodiamonds. It's called, I think they call it trinitite, and it's like nuclear glass, they call it as well. And it's what happens when a massive impact hits sand, and it turns it into this kind of glass.
I think that because when it come with all the visits,
Yeah.
what were they visiting to do? Because I know, they ought to say like we caught one or something like that.
Yeah.
If you did you try to torture him and get stuff out of him? What would be the thing? But what were the visits if they wasn't teaching something? I believe in it. I just don't know what they were visiting to do.
Well, the way I describe it is, there's a great show on Netflix called Chimp Empire. And Chimp Empire is all about these scientists that are embedded in this chimp tribe, and they've been there for 30 years. Because these scientists have been there for 30 years, the chimpanzees behave like there's no people there. They can get within 20 feet of these chimpanzees. Chimpanzees, as long as they don't eat in front of them, and as long as they never present any sort of danger, raise their voices, and as long as they just stay back, the chimps don't pay attention to them at all. They just go throughout their life. And so these scientists are observing these chimpanzees, and then these cinematographers captured all of this. I think the way we treat chimpanzees is probably, and they let them kill each other. They do wild shit to each other, these chimps. They engage in territorial warfare. They fight over access to fruit. I think the aliens would treat us the same way. I think they would observe us, but not do anything. And I think if we did something fucking dangerous, like nuclear bombs, then they would go, whoa, okay. Because I think if alien societies do exist, and intelligent life is out there in the universe, I think what happens is they keep getting more and more and more and more sophisticated. And in the beginning, they engage in tribal warfare. And as they become more and more sophisticated, their technology becomes far too dangerous to keep doing that same shit. And that's when they observe them, because it's this perilous tipping point where we could completely wipe out life on Earth, or we can evolve and get to the next stage of existence where we could coexist harmoniously all in throughout the universe and join some fucking global, some rather universal group of beings. That's possible. But the only way that's possible is if we don't nuke ourselves. What do you think about all this UFO disclosure shit? Are you paying attention to it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, eventually when it does come down to nukes, like that is true if you believe the Stranger at the White House. They have a whole book about it, and it was all about when we dropped the nukes on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that they ended up becoming interested in us. And according to what they said, that the aliens said, they said that the nukes actually have a harmful impact on the universe somehow. We don't understand it, but it actually has a negative impact on the entirety of the universe. So, the fact that they came all the way over here to truly tell us that is something else, Which, if that's true, it could, they could be telling us a lie, or they could be telling us the truth. They could be saying, hey, you've gotten to a certain point where maybe you can challenge us, and they don't want us to evolve. They don't want us to be to a certain level of technology. They want to be controlling the show. They don't want us to get so high in technology that we could rival them. You never know. But yeah, that is how some of those people see it. And you don't know if it's true, you don't know if it's false. It's very interesting.
I think it's pretty cool.
It's pretty interesting, right?
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? Like how little people seem to care.
Because we already know.
I know, but it's interesting that like there wasn't like some moment where people like were like, "Holy shit, aliens are real." There
Pretty
wasn't a
soon
moment.
that's coming.
You think? I think it's because this slow trickle. It's gonna be. We just accept it.
Well, they try to normalize it with like
Yeah.
like War of the Worlds, which is like
Mm-hmm.
the War
War
of
of the
or
Worlds.
Battle of Los Angeles and shit like that. That was a real fucking thing that happened. The pictures of Battle of Los Angeles is crazy.
What happened exactly?
There's
Battle
this,
of Los Angeles?
there's this big object in the sky, and we're shooting machine
Mhm.
guns at it.
Yeah.
We got
You know what this is?
spotlights. This is like in the 50s, man.
Yeah, I was in the 50s.
at
Yeah,
this shit.
yeah, I remember that.
So we're putting
Yeah.
fucking
So they have
rounds on
these
this fucking thing.
Spotlights on this thing.
Mhm.
In the
Look at the
sky.
rounds.
Right, but what is it? What is it that they see? That's weird. That all you can see is spotlights.
1947, it says.
Boy, that looks like a fucking flying.
Anti-aircraft
Look at-
guns
look
comb
at in the
sky
middle
during an
and look at-
alarm.
But those things around it, those are fucking like Ma Deuce rounds. Like they're shooting at this fucking thing. They don't know what it is.
Well, you know that there's a.
They were
famous
ripping on it,
story,
dude.
From
They
the
said they were
Soviet
lighting it
These
up.
Guys shot.
They
at
were
the,
lighting it
UFO,
up.
and it turned them into stone.
Is it
And
true?
I don't know. The CIA investigated it. Here, I'll send it to you, Jamie. 'Cause I
Turned
sent
into
it to Jeremy
stone,
Corbell, That's
huh?
what I asked him.
Fuck, I should have had links, Jamie.
What?
God damn it.
Well, this is the only link I have. It's
Turn it
CIA
into
was about to turn
stone?
into stone. You're
Did you
definitely
find
on a
it?
Like
watch
some
list.
Medusa
yeah,
shit?
so there's-
Dude, I
there's
truly
literally
believe that's
a
actually a
CIA
thing now.
document about it.
Like, I'm honestly, so here's what one of my theories is that there truly is a power to turn people into stone. There truly is. Because, you know, it's just something, that's one of the things. It's like, why would someone think in like when they were doing some Greek mythology and all that kind of stuff, why would anybody ever think of turning somebody into stone? Like, that just always seemed odd to me. Like, there's many ways that they find people to die. They've hung people to mountains in chains and had a bird picking at their liver every single day for the rest of their life that they were banished there. Like, they've done some gruesome stuff, but turn into stone? Like, really? Like, turn into stone? That always seemed weird to me. And I'm convinced that either it could have been the snakes were a certain type of snake, or it could be certain powers, or I firmly believe that there's something that maybe you can do with frequency, possibly, to turn people to stone in some sort of way. But I truly believe that there is a way, and it's like, why would they just like bring that out of nowhere? I truly think it was real. Like, I truly think it was real. Why? That's just something so odd to make up. Turn into stone. It's like, well, if there was actually a power of turn into stone, if they look at you, you turn into stone, I could see. But here's the thing, is that there was almost nobody in the entirety of the mythology and Greek mythology, let's say, when they say that Medusa turned people to stone, there was only one person that ended up being him, that was Perseus. And when Perseus came out, you know, Pegasus came out, out of the body. When you look at that, and then you're thinking to yourself, well, what was Medusa in the first place? Like, if she had something like a flying horse and other things coming out, like, what kind of powers would they use that? To me, you know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like some sort of advanced being literally forced and trapped certain creatures together in a body, and it literally somehow managed to do it with body. I don't know if it was with magic or whatever it was. They somehow forced it into a body, and with their somehow powers, they were able to give a person life and give them the ability to turn to something like that's just like what? Why would like that's something to make up? I'm just saying that's interesting to make up, but it's like think about it. It's like what if there truly was like some sort of things you put together that you would never think of, and then all of a sudden it gives the power to turn living things into stone. Like that's just so crazy to think about.
These guys supposedly shot at a low-flying spaceship. According to the KGB materials,
No
a
way.
quite low-flying spaceship in the shape of a saucer appeared above a military unit that was conducting routine training maneuvers. For unknown reasons,
Yeah.
somebody unexpectedly launched a surface-to-air missile and hit the UFO. It fell to Earth not far away, and
Damn!
humanoids with large heads
I can
and
see that.
large
Yep.
black eyes
Black
emerged
eyes.
from it. It is stated in the testimonies by the two soldiers who remained alive that
Yeah.
after freeing themselves from the debris, the aliens came close together and then merged into a single object that acquired a spherical shape. That object began to buzz and hiss sharply and then became brilliant white. In a few seconds, the spheres grew much bigger and exploded by flaring up with an extremely bright light. At that very instant, 23 soldiers who had watched the phenomenon turned into stone poles. Yeah, only 2 soldiers who stood in the shade and were less exposed to the luminous explosion survived.
No shit.
The KGB report goes on to say that the remains of the UFO and the petrified soldiers were transferred to a secret scientific research institution near Moscow. Specialists assume
Moscow,
that the
so this
source
is
of
in
energy
Russia,
that is
huh?
still unknown to Earthlings instantly changed the structure of the soldiers' living organisms, having transformed it into a substance whose molecular composition is no different from that of limestone. Oh my
It
god.
turned them into limestone.
Turned them
Turn
literally
them
into
into
limestone.
And
limestone.
this is a CIA
Yeah.
paperwork?
Well, this is, they're reading from a KGB
Wow.
file, right? So it's just go to the very bottom of that again, Jamie. The very bottom of that. It says one of the things that says the CIA representative stated, if the KGB file corresponds to reality, this is an extremely menacing case. The aliens possess such weapons and technology that go beyond all our assumptions. They can stand up for themselves if attacked. But the thing is, they're saying if the file corresponds to reality, that means there's a
If this is
question.
real, they're tough.
Yeah, they can fuck with you.
What year was this released?
I don't know.
Source is a newspaper.
1991?
93.
93.
So there's
93.
all these disclosures that are going on right now, and they're very, very fascinating because it's hard to know what's true and what's not true. But it's interesting that they're talking about it. But no one's showing me
Turn
anything.
to
I'm waiting for them
stone.
to show me things. I've seen some things
Turn
already, like
to
those videos
stone.
that they took off the FLIR video and the Go Fast video and these videos of these things where these jet fighter pilots are trying to track this thing and it's like zipping across the sky and like, what the fuck is that? I've seen a few of those. I've seen talk to 2 different fighter pilots that have had encounters.
And they're all in.
They're all in. I think there's a real thing going on. What that real thing is what's confusing to me. I think some of it has to be ours. I think some of it has to be like super advanced drone technology that we don't want everyone knowing about, and it's probably some black ops shit. But I don't think that's all of it. I think it's also possible that we've been visited. It just makes sense. It sounds so stupid. That's part of the problem of even talking about it because it sounds dumb because there's no evidence. So you have to believe in something where there's no evidence of it other than like some blurry photographs. But then when you just think about the size of the universe itself and the fact that we exist here on this planet. We're real. We know we're real.
What if it's fucking a Martha or whatever, and they're from fucking the center of the earth, and the holes in the poles or whatever? No.
That is a theory too. That actually is a theory that they say that the creatures, some of the creatures that we see, are actually a result. They're a result of being underground in the center of the earth, and that they actually live down there and have a society down there, and that I think it was what was it, general or colonel? It was it was in the English army. He ended up visiting Australia, and according to him, when they took a plane, they ended up taking it in a giant cave and supposedly went underground and under this big long cavern ended up being a giant, big old society at the end. They ended up turning on these. They ended up landing, turned on like some automatic landing thing that they had, which was weird. So it made them like fly the plane and land without their control, and then they ended up meeting these people, and that this was, after World War II, and they were saying, hey, we're kind of concerned of the nuclear. Well, this was actually just after the nukes were dropped, actually, and then they were saying, hey, we were concerned about what nuclear devices and all that kind of stuff are going on up there. Like, we we don't want you guys to destroy yourselves and us at the same time. Like, that's just stupid. We want to make sure like everything's not all bad. So that's also a theory that at the poles that there's actually a whole society under the center of the earth, and that could be some, or if not all, of the alien that that are
That's where
seen.
the holes are, and that's why Google Maps blocks it all out and all that shit.
Well, that would be a great theory before cell phones, like that.
But
and
it's not there. You
satellites.
still can't see it.
Maybe you can with satellites, and also flight pattern. Like the people that
Copy and paste, by
you
the
know
way.
who doesn't think the world is flat? Pilots.
True. Or anyone who's been in an airplane.
They fly around these motherfuckers. They know where they have to go. They know the flight patterns.
And you look at it.
Yeah,
You
you look
see
at
it,
it.
yeah.
Also, by the way, everything's round. Go out in the fucking sky and look at Mars, look at Jupiter, get a telescope, look at all the stars. Notice how everything's round? Seems like there's a pattern going on.
Yeah.
Why would this be different?
This ass is round.
Yeah. Those ancient aliens type folks.
Ancient
that
aliens,
want
yeah.
everything
They
to
want
be-
everything to be ancient aliens, and I've been
Right.
accused of how could I not accept this or that, you know?
Me too. People
Because
get mad about
yeah,
those
they get
theories.
really mad at me, and
They're
they
the
say,
nastiest.
yeah, they're nastiest, and they'll even tell me, well, this supports what everything you've been saying. I don't care if it supports everything I've been saying. If it's not real, it's not real. If the
Yeah.
evidence isn't there, it's not, you know?
It is fascinating that they do dig up these ancient structures and the Machu Picchu and all these
Yeah.
different places where, like, wow, these construction methods are really pretty impressive.
Incredible.
What was going on back then, but they always want to tie it to aliens.
They always want to tie it to aliens, which I think is I hate to use this term, but sort of a cop-out.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, it's a
it-
business.
It's a business.
Dude.
Well,